If you hate the Sixers, hit the like button. Why didn't we just lose to the Pacers, bro? What's the point of starting 1-4? Just be 0-5, bro. Just be 0-5. Thank God the Phillies play Friday and Saturday. So we don't have to watch this. Yeah. No. I see you in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm sure you're just as frustrated as I am after this. Another lackluster performance by the Philadelphia 76ers. By the 2022 Philadelphia 76ers. Man, they stink. They stink, man. Get them out of my face. They stink. Get this team out of my face. This team stinks. This team absolutely stinks. You sat here and fed me all this BS all off season. You did this to me all off season. James Harden took less money so that we can sign PJ Tucker and Daniel House and Maxey in year 3. And there's no slander to Maxey in this game. He dropped 31. But you sold this to me all off season. We got a deeper team. We got veteran pieces. All the issues we had last season are going to be fixed or patched or at least look better. And you come out here and start the season 1-4, and listen to me, man. It's not like you're sitting here. It's not like you're sitting here with some close games, you know? Let me do something real quick. It's not like you had some hard fought games, and you know, maybe you could possibly with a ball bounce here or there or a shot make here or there be 2-3-2 or 4-1. No. You've lost convincingly. You've lost convincingly now 4 times. You know what I mean? If people want to talk about our competition, how hard our schedule was when we started the season, you were not in any of these games. You lost convincingly. 4 times. Oh, thank you guys for the support. RUMFFL. Why don't you tell me what that stands for, bro? Y'all got to fire Doc Rivers and hire Romp Rivers. No, we got to hire Sam Cassell. But shout out to Romp, though. No, we got to hire. We got to promote Sam Cassell. Pope Platinum Beats, my guy, has been a member of the channel for 20 months. Shout out to you, Pope. Always keeping it a buck. We don't even always agree on everything, but I appreciate you for being real. Fire Doc is trending now on Twitter heavy. Has to be, bro. It has to be. What's the common denominator? Bro, what? How is? Do you think Daryl Morey's sitting back here watching this with a smile on his face? Do you think he's happy? You know what I mean? If I'm Daryl Morey, my credibility is on the line too. I'm supposed to be this world-renowned NBA GM. I talked James Harden into taking less money so I could go sign this guy and this guy and this guy. And you start the season 1-4, and it's not just 1-4. It's not just wins and losses, bro. It's how you're losing these games. You are the slowest team in the NBA. You are the worst transition defense team in the NBA. You are one of the worst rebounding teams in the NBA again. You don't communicate on defense. You leave guys wide open left, right, front, center, back, left, right again all day. And when it starts to look like, when you're watching a game and you've, again, like I said before, you've eliminated all possibilities, process of elimination, you've checked off every box, and you landed on, what does this team do in practice? Then it comes down to the coach. It just comes down to the coach. It just does. He blew it 2 years ago in what? Atlanta. Right? Then the whole Ben Simmons debacle happens. We give him a pass because of that, even though he was sucking the whole season. Babying that kid like a infant, like a 25-year-old infant arguing with reporters. Nothing wrong with him. He doesn't have to score. $150 million NBA player doesn't have to score. We give him a pass on that because Ben quits. and puts him in a tough position. Harden comes over. Okay, he was coming off a hamstring injury. Didn't have a whole off season, so he looks washed. Embiid breaks his face in the playoffs, so this guy keeps getting excuses that pop up for him. Right? But now you have a whole off season with James Harden, with Joel Embiid. James Harden's healthy. Joel Embiid's not healthy. He is plantar fasciitis all off season that we didn't know about. But there's no excuses left, man. He was traded from Boston. He was fired in Orlando. He was fired in LA. Now it's time, bro. It's time. What's the plan here? Do you think this team's magically going to get better without changing the coach? Is this team magically going to turn it around without changing the head coach? No, it's not. No, nothing's going to change. You need a new voice. You need a new energy. This cannot continue. I mean, it can. Let him go 1-10. I don't give a shit. Let him go 1-20. I don't care. At what point do we, Alan Sterling, thanks for supporting the channel. At what point do we fire Doc Rivers? 3-7, 5-12, or 7-15? That's generous, actually. That's actually generous. Let me resize this real quick so this stuff fits on the screen. That's actually generous, Alan Sterling. At what point do we fire Doc Rivers? 3-7. We're playing Toronto on Friday. We're playing Chicago on Saturday. We get the Wizards on Monday. You might win that one. I'm not sure, though. You know, I don't know what their record is right now, but I peeped a couple of their games at the beginning of the season. Kyle Kuzma's balling out. They always got Bradley Beal. Kristaps Porzingis is healthy and playing. That's not even a guaranteed W. The way the Sixers team looks right now, I don't think they're beating anybody but the Indiana Pacers. They might beat the Houston Rockets. They might beat the Houston Rockets if we have them on the schedule at some point. Gambo, what's up, man? Doc needs to go. I agree, man. Thank you for being a member of the channel. All right, let's get into it, man. I guess I just ran it a little bit. Ime can blank my girl. I don't care. Just fire Doc. Well, I'll straight up fight Ime Udoka, bro. I don't care how tough he looks. Nah. Yeah, fire Doc Rivers. Ime's not leaving Boston anyway. Yeah, Washington. The Wizards are decent, and they are playing better than us. So this ain't looking good. But the common denominator is Doc Rivers here, okay? So shall we talk about the game? The Philadelphia 76ers lose 119-109. Crazy baller, geez, man. You keep repeating yourself. You're copying and pasting the same comment in the chat. Please don't do that. The Toronto Raptors beat the 76ers 119-109. I don't know if I expected a win with how we look, but I guess I didn't expect it to look like this. I should have though, because look what happened. You know, it's a lot different. Everything's different when you play good defense. Everything's different when you play athletes. Everything's different when you play long, athletic players. Everything's different, you know. So congratulations, you beat the Indiana Pacers. Congratulations, you beat T.J. McConnell and Buddy Hield. You know, they didn't even have Miles Turner on the damn floor because he sprained his ankle. So congratulations, your one win is against the midget Indiana Pacers. You play length, you play athleticism, this is what you get. Step number 1. Let's take a pause. Let's back up. Let's back up and take a positive. Okay, Taz Journey, thanks for being a member of the No Fraud Zone. This start is disappointing. I had high hopes. Yeah. Let's take a positive before we, continue to be ultra negative, all right? Joel Embiid had 31 points on 12 of 17 shooting, 2 for 4 from the field, 5 of 7 from the free throw line, only 5 rebounds, 3 assists. So Joel Embiid against a team that recently historically, gives him a lot of trouble. Played a good game. I thought, we weren't forcing the ball on the block to Joel. We weren't, they were going to double and triple team him when he touches the ball. So we had strategy against that. And that made me feel good that we were getting Joel in different spots, trying to kind of run away from those double and triple teams. And Joel was getting to his spots and was hitting some shots. He was hitting the elbow jumpers. He was, driving down the lane, doing little Euro finger rolls. So a positive you could take away from this is that Joel didn't have a terrible game, especially considering how he started the season against Boston, against Milwaukee, even against the Spurs. He didn't look good. I'm talking about offensively now. And, so Joel looked better than I thought he was going to look against a good athletic defensive team like the Toronto Raptors. That's the positive. The other positive is Tyrese Maxey dropping 31 points, of course. Tyrese Maxey dropped 31 points because Toronto had a strategic plan to take James Harden out of the game. Double teams for James Harden, flashing around screens, fronting him with doubles right away, making him get rid of the ball. So, Harden finishes the game with 18. I'm going to talk about Harden in a minute because there's still a lot of stuff that I don't like about James Harden in this game. But it was nice to see, still coming off that cold, you know what I mean? It was nice to see Tyrese Maxey step up when a team clearly has a strategy to take the ball out of James Harden's hands, and Maxey gives you 31 points. And I thought even from the jump, from the very start of the game, we had some Tyrese Maxey implementation in the game. We actually had some plays run for Tyrese Maxey from the start of the game. I don't know how that takes 5 games to figure out. I don't know how it takes 5 games for the coaching staff to say, hey, maybe we should have a strategy to get Tyrese Maxey going downhill. One play that I remember off the top of my head that I liked, I don't even think it turned into a bucket, but James dribbling the ball at the 3-point line, hands it off to Maxey, kind of a screen handoff, and then Joel's behind him with a second screen to get Maxey into the lane. Why did it take us 5 games to run strategic plays for Tyrese Maxey? Why would that take 5 games? You saw what he did last season. You saw what he did in the playoffs. You saw what he did this summer. You saw what he did in the preseason. How about you start the season with a plan to get Tyrese Maxey involved in the game? It took him 5 games, but that's another positive I guess I'm going to take from this. So, Maxey gives you 31. He didn't look hesitant like I think he looked in the first couple of games. I think that was because there really was no plan for him in those games. It was just like, all right, pick and roll James and Joel, and Maxey, I don't know, buddy. Just go out there and try to figure it out. So, I'm happy that Maxey looked better in this game and dropped 31 points like we know he can do. James Harden in this game really pissed me off, man. And I know Toronto threw looks at him to take the ball out of his hands, like I just said. That's why Maxey went off. That's why Maxey had 31. That's why Maxey was getting freer. That's why Maxey was getting downhill, getting to the rim and things like that. But there was still a lot of instances in this game where I saw James Harden just flat out not try. And through the third quarter, I'm thinking, like, where's James Harden been in this game, And I looked at the stats, and he only had 7 shot attempts. And look, good defenders, long defenders, very athletic. I understand that's not easy for James Harden to succeed against, but I think because he was getting, defended so well, he kind of took a back seat on the offensive side of the ball. And that's fine with that Maxey dropping 31 and Embiid dropping 31. I'm not saying I needed 40 from James Harden. But I just saw a couple times where he didn't give the effort that I wanted him to give, and it really perturbed me. A specific one towards the end of the game. Let me read it, because I wrote down I took notes as the fourth quarter was happening, because there was just some things that really annoyed me, man. Things that, here we go. So Doc leaves James on the bench until 6 minutes to go, and Maxey's kind of running the show. And I'm fine with that. Totally fine with that. He brings him back in. James runs a little bit of a screen with Maxey at the top of the key, right off to the left side. The Raptors switch, because they switch everything, because they play great defense, and they have athletes that can switch everything. James, because of that switch, gets Fred VanVleet in a one-on-one and picks up his dribble and passes it back to Maxey with Pascal Siakam on him and 5 seconds on the shot clock. And I'm like, James, you don't want to take VanVleet? Come on, bro. I thought the whole point of running the screen was for you to get VanVleet on the switch. So I just don't understand what he was really doing at the end of that game, okay? Then it's a 10-point game. Harden hits a 3 to cut it to 7. I'm thinking, like, all right, are we going to do some heroic stuff? Or are we going to make, are we going to make a crazy under 1 minute 10-0 run or something and actually make this a game? Cuts it to 7. We get another stop. 30 seconds left. He chucks up a 45-foot air ball. What is going on here? And then he comes down the other end and intentionally fouls at the rim for an and one. So there's game over. I don't know, man. But the main story of the game is not even on the offensive side of the ball. It's obviously very easily the defensive side of the ball. Justice League, thanks for the super chat. Crabs in the bucket. I think the best thing they can do is trade for West. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it, man! Stop it, guy! Stop it, man! Stop, bro! Stop! Stop it! Stop! When are y'all gonna stop saying Russell Westbrook's name? Stop it! The guy is trash! Stop! Nobody's taking that contract, man. Stop saying Westbrook. What are we doing here? My God. I'm sorry, I can't handle it. Don't even type the words Russell Westbrook. Oh, man, we look terrible. We got to go trade for Russell Westbrook? Stop. Good Lord. Anyway. What? Bro, and you paid money to say that comment? Oh. What are we talking about here? I think we might as well jump off a bridge before we do that. Anyway, no offense, by the way. I absolutely hated your comment, but no offense. No, realistically, outside of, it's not even really, we only scored 109 points. Yeah, the Toronto Raptors are very good defensively, and you're matching up the most athletic team in the league with probably still, even after this offseason, the least athletic team in the league. You know what I mean? It's just, you're matching up probably the most athletic team in the league with the least athletic team in the league. So this is what's going to happen. But I want you guys to know something. Toronto Raptors didn't add anybody major in the offseason, did they? They got the same squad. We beat them 4-2 in the playoffs last year. with the squad that we had before we had this epic, amazing offseason where we signed all of these veteran playoff players. We took them 4-2 in a playoff series. And I want to tell you something. The two most athletic players on this Philadelphia 76ers team, even after the entire offseason, is still Paul Reed and Matisse Thybulle. The two most athletic players on this team, even after all that stuff we did in the offseason, are still Paul Reed and Matisse Thybulle. The craziest part is, in the playoffs, when you're playing the most athletic team in the league, you played Paul Reed at backup center for 10 minutes a game. He played all of the backup center minutes against Toronto in the playoff series. Why? Because he's athletic as hell. You're playing a team that's going to out-rebound you, out-jump you, out-defend you, and you played Paul Reed for 10 minutes a game in the playoffs because you got to match the athleticism. You played Matisse Thybulle for 15 minutes a game in that playoff series when he was available, when he in America, when he didn't have to be vaccinated. He got one, then he didn't get the booster or something. I don't know, holistic medicine, whatever he was practicing. But you played Matisse Thybulle 15 minutes a game in that playoff series when he was available. Why? Because he's insanely athletic, and you're playing the most athletic team in the NBA. So today, Doc Rivers says to himself, Doc Rivers sits in his living room with a pen and a pad, and he says to himself, how can I defend the best, how can I defend the most athletic team in the NBA tonight? Should I do what I did in the playoffs last year? Nah. I should probably play George Niang, Montrezl Harrell, and Daniel House Jr. That's what I should do against the Toronto Raptors. Montrezl Harrell's the first one off the bench. I'm losing my mind. I said straight up on Twitter, do not play Montrezl Harrell against the Toronto Raptors. Guy can't guard anybody. Anybody. He brings Montrezl Harrell first off the bench. I understand you need shooting, but you can't play George Niang against the Toronto Raptors. You just can't do it. The guy is stuck in the mud. George Niang, legitimately, I swear to God, if you play George Niang one-on-one against PJ Tucker right now, I'm taking PJ Tucker. That's how much George Niang can't defend anybody. It's not his fault. Well, it's kind of his fault. He doesn't work out at all. He just hangs out in bars and eats cheesesteaks all summer because he's like, they call me the minivan. It's funny that I'm the fattest guy in the NBA and I just jack up shots. And maybe once in a while I'll make a couple and that'll be enough for me to get paid again. I don't give a shit. Yo, George Niang DM'd RB one time when he was talking shit on Twitter and he was mad at him. If he ever hears what I say on this show, he's going to come to my front door. Yeah, I mean, I thought this stuff was obvious. Look, I know you don't have a sixth man of the year candidate on the bench. I know you don't have anybody like really, really good off the bench. But it had to be obvious that you can't play George Niang and Montrezl Harrell against the Toronto Raptors. It had to be obvious. So George Niang was a -8 in 14 minutes. Montrezl Harrell was a -4 in 4 minutes. Daniel House Jr. was a -10. DeAnthony Melton was a -13. What does that tell you? That tells you that nobody could defend anybody when they were on the floor. DeAnthony Melton had a good offensive game off the bench. Gave us 12 points, 5 for 7, 2 for 4 from the three-point line. 3 steals, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, a big-time offensive rebound, at a couple big defensive rebounds at only 6'2". I love the kid's heart. I love his drive. I love, what he brings off the bench. But, Matisse Thybulle did not play coach's decision against the Toronto Raptors. And I rant and rave about Matisse Thybulle all the time because he can't shoot. But, buddy, you need some defense on the floor. How are you going to guard the Toronto Raptors? I don't understand Doc's rotation so far, man. I don't. I would have played Paul Reed more. I would have played Matisse Thybulle. And, you only played 7 backup center minutes, and Joel Embiid had 38 minutes. He was good, but was he good defensively? I don't really know. I don't think so. I saw a couple of wide open layups with him just kind of standing under the rim. I know he had a chase down block that was called a foul. Some other things went down, but I'll have to look at the advanced numbers and really kind of rewatch the game to see if I could consider, Joel Embiid was good defensively in this game. But to go out here against the Toronto Raptors and literally have a game plan of you're going to bring George Niang and Montrezl Harrell off the bench first is absolutely insane. That's insane to me, man. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me, man. That's crazy. The Toronto Raptors, of course, went crazy in the first quarter because that's what they do against us. Pascal Siakam turns into, a Kevin Durant against us. What did he have, 19 in the first half? And he only finished the game with 20, so he slowed down a lot. He was 7 for 16. He was shot 50% from 3, of course. Pascal Siakam had 13 assists in the game. That's incredible for a +7. Oh, look at the scoring output of the Toronto Raptors and just how balanced it was, man. Pascal Siakam, 20. OG Anunoby, 15. Scotty Barnes, 16. Fred VanVleet, 15. Gary Trent Jr., 27. Chris Boucher, 13. Chris Boucher, Bobby Boucher's cousin. Career 10-point-per-game player. Career 9-point-per-game player. Had 10 points in the first half against us. The Raptors had 63 at halftime. Siakam had 19 at halftime. Chris Boucher, who averages 9 points per game on his career, had 10 at halftime. The guy just always turns into a superstar bench player against us. We were getting out hustled. We were getting out rebounded. I'm sounding like a broken record these days, man. Like, what am I supposed to say here, man? What am I supposed to say? I'm saying the same thing every damn postgame. We're getting out hustled. We're getting out rebounded. We don't play any transition defense. I made a video today talking about how impactful James Harden has been defensively compared to James Harden over the course of his career. That doesn't actually mean it's good. And there was a lot of plays in this game where James Harden was just standing there and his man beat him down the floor. There was a lot of plays where his man cut back door and he was standing still. There was plays where Embiid was standing still as his man cut back door. George Niang standing still, of course, as his man cuts back door. Very, very easy looks for the Toronto Raptors in this game, man. And every time we kind of made a little bit of a run in the fourth quarter, we decided to leave Fred VanVleet wide open from 3. Wide open from 3. Wide open again from 3. I mean, what are we really doing here? What are we really doing here? Doc finally puts Paul Reed in the game at the end of the third quarter, and he's on the floor fighting for an offensive rebound. Like, I just can't figure it out. The one guy that's going to give you energy and defense and fight and has that dog mentality, you play for 3 minutes in the game. Why did you play Montrezl Harrell for 4 minutes? Do those 7 minutes really make a difference between the win and the loss here? Probably not. But why? Maybe they do. We were such a big negative when Joel Embiid was out of the game. Maybe they do make that much of a difference. What was the actual reason of putting Montrezl Harrell in the game against the Toronto Raptors? What are you going to get from that besides giving up wide open layups? Maxey got out running a little bit in the fourth quarter. Another thing I noticed, man, and somebody pointed this out the other day. PJ Tucker in the fourth quarter caught the ball in the corner, wide open. Not wide open, defender closing in. But he pump fakes and dribbles and throws it across the court to Maxey smothered or Tobias Harris smothered, who shot an air ball. PJ, why are we passing up open looks, PJ Tucker? Your one job on this team is to hustle, play defense, dive on the floor for loose balls, and catch it and shoot it in the corner. Joel Embiid gets the ball under the rim on a nice pass from either Maxey or Harden. Double teamed, but he's bigger than everybody around him. And he does the one thing that you were taught not to do in elementary school. Don't bring the ball down. He brings the ball down, tries to take a power dribble in traffic, automatic turnover. Another thing that I saw that I hated. That's what this whole stream is, man. All the things DJ Eastwood saw in this game that he hated. James Harden brings the ball across half court, and Joel is outside the three-point line at the top of the key, and he passes it to him, and Joel turns to his right, puts the ball on the floor like they're running a play. Why in the hell is that in the playbook? Why in the hell would that ever be a play that's in the playbook? Why in the hell would Joel Embiid catching the ball outside the three-point line almost at half court against the Toronto Raptors defense ever be a play in the playbook? And guess what? What do you think happened? What do you think happened when you gave the ball to Joel Embiid outside the three-point line against the Toronto Raptors? What do you think happened? If you said turnover, you're right. This team is pathetic so far. Pathetic so far. Kevin Wilson, thanks for the support. Sorry it took me this long to read this. Watching this Sixers team is like getting a pillowcase full of candy corn on Halloween. Take advantage of Canadian law and abort our coaching staff. Man. Yeah. What else do I say, man? Let me take some phone calls so you can say what you want to say, because I got nothing left to say. I got absolutely nothing left to say about this team. It's disappointing. Everything they did the offseason, everything they sold us, they look terrible. They flat out look terrible. Now my audio went berserk again. Hold on a second. Every time I open this app, my audio goes berserk. All right, we fixed it. We fixed it. They flat out look terrible. And the common denominator is the coach. You can't be the worst team in the worst transition team, the worst transition team in the league 2 years in a row. The worst rebounding team 2 years in a row. The worst, I don't know, dude. We're giving up 75% at the rim. It's crazy. We're old, we're slow, we're unathletic. It's not, Yeah. Sorry for your ears, Devin. You'll survive. Caller from Fremont, California, 510. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going, man?
It's going, man. It's going.
Yeah, we lost today. Normally I'm depressed a little bit when we lose, but these losses stacking up only make it more likely that, Glenn Rivers gets fired. So you can't be too sad. But, just a ray of sunshine to, at least pick up the mood a little bit is that, both Harden and Embiid tend to play better as the season goes on. By December or January, they're going to be, at their peak and playing great. But hopefully, coach is fired by then. And it's just, something I wanted to mention that really bugged me in the training camp, watching that comment by Coach Rivers talking about it's a pecking order, and trying to set up, Embiid and Harden on this pecking order, presumably Maxey and then Tobias and whoever he wants to set it up. There's an assumption there that if there's a pecking order, then the coach would be at the top of the pecking order. And that really bugs me because Coach Rivers never likes to take responsibility for any of the losses. And if you're at the top of the pecking order, it's got to be you that takes responsibility. So at this point, Daryl Morey has to make the decision. It's no longer do we get rid of Doc Rivers, it's when. Because that culture of having a pecking order, it affects the players, man. I think, players are always thinking about the pecking order. We got to force Embiid the ball. We got to force Harden the ball.
Yep.
And it allows this sense of, like, you have less freedom to create on your own and to be like an actual creative team.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right. I completely agree. You're absolutely right. You're not putting it in their heads to run a free motion offense. You're not putting it in their heads to, whoever's open, give them the ball. You're not putting it in their heads to even really be a share first type of team. Play defense, screen and pass, share the ball. If this guy's hot one night, he's the guy with the shot. That's what the Toronto Raptors play like. That's what a lot of teams play like. That's what the Golden State Warriors play like. There's not necessarily even though they have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, there's not an actual pecking order. They share the ball around. Jordan Poole can go off for 35 points, So I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Totally
and
agree.
At this point, like, you need a culture change, man. You need somebody new to come in and say, hey, we're not going to play like that anymore. We got to play with some freedom. We have to play with a sense of, like, even if you miss, we're not going to just immediately pull you out. And, I've seen Houston Harden, and the way that team was run was that, Harden gets the ball, but the other players, they're going to shoot open shots because they're not afraid of getting pulled if they miss a shot. And, we just need some new coaching in here to instill a new attitude in our players, because you see it in their effort out there. Like, they're just not fighting for the rebounds. They're not playing defense with energy. There's like a stark difference between a well-coached team like the Raptors and the way we're looking right now. It's just, you can just see the game and watch how much harder the Raptors are playing.
Yeah.
And the Sixers, they just seem so out of it, man.
Absolutely. You're absolutely on the money, man. Hey, what's your name? I want to put your name in here on the call thing. What's your name?
Yeah, you can call me Octavio, man.
What is it?
Octavio.
Octavio. I got you, Octavio. Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. Hey, and thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Gotta keep it moving. Yeah, he's on the money. He's on the money, man. Thank you, Octavio. You were on the money. When you see just generally sitting back and watching this team play, yeah, they don't look like they're trying hard. They don't look like they're giving maximum effort. It's 100% the way the coach coaches this team. It's the way a coach coaches any team, comes out on the court. Yeah, you see teams like the Toronto Raptors giving 110% every single play. This team looks lethargic. They look like they don't care. It's 100%. You need a culture change. I completely agree with you. Call from the 609. What's going on? What's your name?
Hey, what's up, Eastwood?
What's up, man? What's your name?
This Eric, man.
Eric, what's going on, man? Got you, Eric. What's up?
Yeah, man. I like Melton coming off the bench, definitely.
Yeah, I like Melton too.
Doing this House, I don't like House at all.
No.
I'm gonna keep it 100.
Daniel House has looked atrocious so far.
Definitely. I don't even think he needs to get no minutes for real. Tucker was getting barbecued tonight.
Yeah,
I don't know what.
that signing's not looking too hot right now either, man. You know, and again, like as much as I want to rant about Doc Rivers, I'm also looking at this roster and saying, these are the guys you got. These are the ones.
Right, absolutely. But yeah, man, I don't know. Doc don't know how to. Well, I'm gonna call him Glenn because the only Doc I have knowledge is Dr. J. But yeah, I don't think he know how to delegate his players. Keep it real with you.
It seems like he doesn't know much of anything right now. I think I'm gonna play his post game live here in a minute, or his post game whatever you call it, press conference here in a minute, because I was gonna wait till tomorrow and react to it, but I want to hear what he has to say. But you got anything else for me, Eric?
Oh, that'll be it, man.
Thanks for calling, my guy.
I love what you're doing, man. Keep it up.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. Shout out to Eric, man. Let me get through a couple more callers, and then I'm gonna play Doc Rivers post game press conference. Cause why the hell not? I might as well just be angry for one day. Why would I watch it tomorrow and be angry tomorrow? Mika on the line. Mika, am I right about that? I got the name right?
Nah, man. Nah, it probably says Michael or something.
Michael. Is it Michael?
Yeah, but it's Gambo. Everybody's calling me Gambo.
Gambo, what's up, man?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Chilling.
Good. Yeah, my bad. I'm getting over the little cold too. But nah, man. You hit it on the head. Like it just blows my mind that like a bunch of idiots like us on the internet can see that Doc Rivers goes into every game with the same exact game plan. Like his rotations, the same guy off the bench every single game, same rotation, same lineups. It's like he has like no feel for the game. I don't know if it's like an ego thing where he thinks that because his ego pops up a lot.
Oh yeah.
Anytime he's questioned or whatever it may be, it's always like, I know what I'm doing.
I don't mean to cut you off. I say this a lot. I've never once heard the guy say, I need to be better. He's never said it.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. Like I've never heard him say you know what, you're right. I dropped the ball. I should have stayed with this lineup. They were hot. They were coming back, whatever. But like you said, to go into the Raptors game, we all know they're the best. They literally have like 10 Paul Reeds.
Yeah.
Paul Reed would be great on the Toronto Raptors.
I said they have four. They have like 4 Matisse Thybulles, but they can shoot.
yeah, exactly. It's high energy guys. Play really hard defense. They play together. There's no star of that team. It's just let's just win the game.
Uh-huh.
But it just blows my mind. Okay, we're getting torched on the perimeter, so let's put in George Niang. Who in I looked it up today because me and my boy were watching a game, and I was cussing out the TV, and he's from New York. He's not like a Sixers fan like that. And we were talking, I was like, I wonder how much this dude makes. Dude, Doc Rivers makes $10 million a year to make these decisions.
Uh-huh.
$10 million a year to make these decisions. And he can't see, hey, we're playing the Raptors. Oh, let me put in a guy that's 4 inches shorter, out of shape, and, whatever, runs up and down the court 5 seconds slower than everybody else. At that point, we didn't really need scoring. Scoring wasn't the issue in this game.
Exactly.
It was defense.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The Toronto Raptors are a good defensive team. If you score 100 points against them, you should be able to win the game. You just have to make sure they don't get hot from behind the three, and you got to give up those. You can't give up those garbage buckets. They were giving up way too much garbage buckets, and I don't know what's up with Embiid. I don't know if he's scared of getting hurt or he's trying to pace himself. But there was so many times that he just didn't challenge the rim. Guys just came down the paint He was right there. He didn't even have to do. You could look just. He's 300 pounds, 7 foot. Like, just put your hands up and stand your ground. It's just frustrating to watch, man. And like, I don't see Daryl Morey, to be honest. Like, Daryl Morey doesn't seem like the type that's going to sit back and watch this too long, because even he has to know, like, he's a smart guy. You know, he's a smart guy. He understands basketball. He's even got to see, like, these lineups, rotations, they don't make sense. Their offense has no flow, you know. I saw, I think, twice tonight, they came down the court. Maxey and Embiid were both calling plays at the same time. And everybody looked like they didn't know which, like, you know what I mean? There was no general.
Yeah,
right? You got Embiid calling one thing.
The one play Maxey called it in the corner, and DeAnthony Melton was standing right next to him. And he shot it and he made it, but I was like, what are we doing here? There's two guys in the same spot.
Yeah.
It was crazy, man.
Yeah. Melton's actually been playing well. I like Melton. He plays hard. Mm-hmm. He actually had some really big defensive plays, like some steals and stuff like that. But it's just like, you know, look, some days, you know, you're going to bring in Paul Reed, you know, as the sixth guy, just to cause havoc and grab some rebounds and make sure people don't get easy shots.
Doc hates him.
Some days you bring in the Yang, you know,
Doc hates
whatever it may be.
Doc hates Paul Reed. I still don't know why. He hates Paul Reed, man. He hates me.
I don't get it, man. All he does is come in and make plays. Every time he comes in, he makes plays for like 6-7 minutes and then gets pulled and never sees the court again.
Right.
But it's just crazy, man. Like, literally these games, you know, I'm one of those guys that, like, basketball, at the end of the day, there are a lot of games that the Sixers lose just because they shot like crap or they didn't play hard enough, right? And that's like a player thing. But these games, I would say, other than the Boston game, like the Boston, they were just a better team that night. But other than the Boston game, every one of these games were winnable. And it really just came down to making adjustments and personnel stuff. And it's just blows my mind, man. I'm just like, I don't understand. You make $10 million a year.
Nothing's
like,
gonna change.
Give me like $200,000. I'll come in and consult or something.
Nothing's gonna change until he changes, man. I'm telling you, he was traded in Boston because he wouldn't agree with Danny Ainge at the time that they wanted to go more analytical. He was disagreeing because he won that championship. He was arguing with the front office way back then, and they traded him for a first-round pick. He's the most uncompliant. He's the most narcissistic coach I've ever seen, bro. It's his way or the highway. He's never wrong. And it's time for it to be over, man. Yo, Gambo, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah, ain't nothing's gonna change until Doc Rivers is out of here, man. We got six more people waiting on the lines. I'm gonna get to all of you. I'm gonna have to try to keep you under 2 minutes. You know what I mean, just so we can get to everybody. You guys have been great callers, by the way, man. Thank you for calling the show always and just keeping the show going, man. Because a lot of times I get tired of hearing myself, and that's why I started this live call-in thing. Just because, man, a lot of you guys, man, have good takes, good opinions, and bring a different perspective and good energy and things like that. Yaji, thank you for supporting the channel. PJ Tucker looked better when he was around good defenders like Jimmy, Giannis, Middleton, Bam Adebayo, Drew Holiday, and Lopez. Tobias, Maxey, and Harden ain't complimenting his game at all. Yeah, I don't think I'm necessarily, like, when I'm saying, you know, PJ doesn't look good, I don't know if I'm saying that like it's PJ's fault. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, and I think it's kind of what you're saying right here, is that it's a bad fit. It's looking like it's a bad fit. You know what I mean? And people that were mad about the signing, I'm always going to be that overly optimistic Sixers fan in the offseason. It's just how I am. I'm never going to go into a season hating everything because I love basketball and I love rooting for this team. It's one of my favorite things in life, so I'm always going to lie to myself heading up to a season. But the people that were mad about the signing, man, it's looking like they're right, and it's because I think you're right about that, man. I think you're right about that. It's because his deficiencies are becoming more clear because he has other slow, bad defenders around him. I agree with you. All right, let's get through some callers, man. Caller from the 856. What's going on?
What's going on?
That VRheem? VRheem, what's up, man?
Yeah.
What's going on, you Sweat?
What's up?
I'm gonna try to keep it short, but I really don't know how much I want to blame on Doc. I really I just dislike Doc as a coach. He's probably a great person, but I just really don't like him as a coach. But to a certain point, I feel like there's a lot of times where we have plays being ran, and like I said before, there's literally just people just standing. I don't even think the Raptors played that good of defense tonight compared to their last when we played them in the playoffs. I don't think they played that much good defense because a lot of the times they were running, closing out chaotically, and all we had to do was get somebody to cut to the basket, just cut to the rim, and nobody would do it.
Right.
We would literally just let James Harden or Maxey just sit on an island by themselves with no help, nobody moving or doing anything, and it's it's actually driving me insane watching this team. I don't know how much longer I can do it. I really don't.
That's that lack of movement and lack of just players giving that extra effort trying to get open and stuff. That's, to me, that's on the coach, because what are you telling this team? What is the message to this team when they're coming out there and just standing around?
Yeah, I feel you. And I do have one more question, actually, really quick. Do you think, because me personally, on paper, I think we have enough to get to at least a championship level, but do you think right now, as of where the team is, besides not the coach or anything, but on paper, do you think we have enough to get to a championship level? Are we good enough to be at that caliber?
Yeah, I think so. If you can get the most out of certain players, I know Joel, James, and Maxey, if they're healthy, are going to come around and be what they are. They're going to be 3 all-star level players. You're going to get that. You're going to get that out of them. The rest is about the bench rotations. It's about buying in on defense. It's about communication. It's about a lot of things that I think definitely can be different, but it ain't gonna happen until the guy up top is different. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, it just sounds like everybody we've been saying the same thing since he's got here. Is that
it's time, man.
He needs to leave.
It's time,
and
man. It's time.
I'm it's weirdly saying this, but I kind of miss Brett Brown. Weirdly.
Listen,
I know it's crazy, but listen, that Brett Brown team, I feel like he kind of had his hands full with the whole Ben Simmons thing. Now, I low-key think Brett Brown could coach this current team, better than Doc Rivers. I really do.
I still watched Brett Brown choose Howell Neto over Trey Burke at the time. I watched Brett Brown cut James Ennis, who was the only producing player on the bench. I watched him play the hell out of Furkan Korkmaz I still watch Brett Brown do a bunch of things that Doc. They both are terrible to me. They're both terrible. If you gave, if you gave Brett Brown that Hall of Fame Celtics team, he probably wins a championship, and then he probably has the ego that Doc Rivers has, and then he's right here, right now, just as bad of a coach as Doc Rivers, thinking he's great. So they might both just be on the same level of terrible. That's how I see it.
Honestly, yeah, you might be right. You honestly might be right, but I appreciate it, man.
Man.
You have a nice night.
All right, bro. Thank you.
Stay safe, man.
Later.
No problem.
Yeah, you, VR. You're never gonna hook, line, and sinker Eastwood back into some Brett Brown talk. That ain't gonna happen. Maria Rodriguez on the line. Is that yo? What's going on?
Yo,
what's going on, man? Yeah, what's up, man? What's your name? Let me put your name in here.
My name is Will. I live in Allentown, PA, about an hour from Philly.
Will, shout out to Allentown, man. I used to DJ Essence Hookah Lounge in Bethlehem.
Gotcha.
Anyway,
yeah, that's probably a couple years ago then.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
What's up? I'm going to keep it short. So call me crazy, but I do think we need Thibault's defense really bad. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Embiid. I don't know what's going on with the defense, but this is just atrocious, man. This is really sad to see. PJ Tucker, it looks like a shell of himself. Don't know why he couldn't put anything in the basket when he was literally 4 feet away. Tobias needs to get benched. Doc Rivers, I hate to sound like a broken record, but no one listens to him, man. And I don't know what it is. It's really sad to see.
Yeah, I don't get it. I'm just at the end of there's nothing left to do but say, Doc, you got to go. There's nothing left to do. You can't do everything they did this offseason and start the season 1-4. You can't.
How do you feel about Montrezl Harrell?
I like his offensive game against certain matchups. I like his offensive game. I like his hustle and everything. But I guess I didn't look enough at his defensive deficiencies really before the season started. And Romp told me right when the signing started. And there's a stream. If anybody watching wants to go back and watch it, it's titled "Eastwood and Romp React to Sixers Signing Montrezl Harrell." And Romp was like, no, this is terrible. And I was trying to be positive, and I was like, why are you so negative all the time? And he was 1,000% right, man. The guy can't guard anybody in the NBA.
Yeah.
And Doc Rivers loves him. And so that's the recipe for disaster, because Doc's going to play him, and he's going to get smoked all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you should just go with, I don't know, Paul Reed, Thibault, because at least they can give you some defense. You know what I mean? Even though freaking
guess who else? Guess who else is a 6'10", 250-pound frame and can give you defense? Charles Bassey. And they wouldn't even play him, and they cut him. Now he signed to the San Antonio Spurs. You had big guy. Charles Bassey had 5 blocks and 12 rebounds against Nikola Jokic last year in November, in a game that Dan Burke was coaching because Doc was out with COVID. So we got a glimpse in those 4 games of what certain development of younger players, what the whole thing can look like when Doc is not here. And then he came back and didn't see him again, and he eventually didn't even make the roster this season or got cut, whatever. But yeah, I'm ready for it to be over. I'm ready for this Doc Rivers thing to be done.
Yeah, not looking forward to Friday either. We got to play him again, that's going to be torture.
Is that back in Philly?
No, that's back in Toronto.
Back in Toronto. Well, the Phillies are playing in the World Series, so I don't care about that game.
Word.
Thanks
for having me on the show, man.
I'll probably watch the Phillies game, and then I'll probably rewatch this. I'll watch the Sixers game the next morning or something and just do a quick reaction video to it. But, yeah, I don't expect much either, man. Yo, thanks for calling, Will.
Yep.
Will on the line. Will is something the Sixers team needs, man. They need some will. They need some determination. They need some motivation. This team is absolutely trash right now. Trash. They look pathetic. And they beat the Pacers, and I was overhyping that just because they finally got in the win column, but they didn't even look good in that game. Just so happens if Buddy Hield's trying to defend Joel Embiid, you end up winning the game. Rue, what's up, man? Some of our Mavs fans were talking about taking on Toby's contract for some reason last night. Thing is there any player y'all would take from us? Rue, nobody in the NBA is paying for Tobias Harris. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. It's just like somebody saying we should take Russell Westbrook's contract. It ain't happening. Tobias Harris had 3 points. I didn't even rant about Tobias Harris in this post-game show, man. Tobias Harris. This is what happens when you play a long, athletic, good defensive team. Everything comes out. All the truth comes to light. A lot of players can look great against, Patty Mills. A lot of players can look great against, I can't think right now. But you play a team like the Toronto Raptors, and everything's going to come to light. Tobias Harris had 3 points in 34 minutes. Pathetic. Atrocious. Tobias looked scared, Flavius says. Exactly. He looked scared. James Harden looked, I wouldn't say scared, but disinterested after the first half. He basically quit. And I watched that switch happen in the fourth quarter. I watched him run a pick and pop, or whatever you want to call the play, with Maxey. I don't know what it's called when a guard sets a screen for another guard. Someone in the chat's going to correct me. I watched him run that play for the switch. He got Vanvleet on him, and he passed it back to Maxey with Siakam on him. You don't even want to take Vanvleet one-on-one in the fourth quarter, James? What are you doing? I had one more person waiting on the line. I'm sorry. Sorry for making you wait. You're on the show, man. What's going on? Sorry for making you wait.
It's all good, DJ. How you doing today, man?
Good, man. What's up? What's your name?
I'm Darius.
Darius. What's up, Darius?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just want to run through a couple of things. I'm going to be super quick, but I'm going to try not to lose my mind. Doc, like the other caller said, with the pecking order thing, these players out here, the role players, they look lost, like they have no type of idea of what to do after the ball goes to James or Embiid. These dudes are completely lost. Doc has no strategy on the defensive end or the offensive end. It's absolutely ridiculous. Daniel House, I don't really understand what he does. I don't know if he's just playing off the merits of him being in the league longer than Thibault, but literally he brings no defense. Thibault can at least bring that. I'm not saying Thibault is the all-world offensive player of the year, but the dude, Daniel House, does nothing. I'm literally confused on what he's out there doing.
I don't get it. I don't get it either. Yeah, I don't get it either. I don't even really remember them saying why they signed Daniel House.
Right. I mean, outside of him playing with James Harden, that was the only reason why he got.
Yeah, career 40% 3-point shooter, and most of it was James Harden in Houston. So that's pretty much why. Yeah.
Right. So I don't really, at this point, I don't really understand it. I don't understand Doc's playoff rotations 5 games into the season. He does this all the time where he doesn't give the opportunity for players to shine over the early part of the regular season.
Yep.
And then he panics at the end of the season and starts making drastic train changes. And now we got a playoff rotation that is terrible.
Yo, you're on the money with that, man. Yeah, he runs this set rotation the whole season, and then in the playoffs he tries to experiment. He's like, oh, this ain't working. I got to do. Bro, you had the whole season to experiment. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Right. So another thing is Tobias. Like, I think you just touched on it. Tobias is, I don't understand why he force feeds Tobias. Like, it's getting to a point where it's just nauseating. Tobias isn't a dude you can run an offensive set through. I don't know why he keeps circumventing Maxey for some reason. I don't know what it is, but Tobias is like a fourth option. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Tobias is absolutely cold tonight. And he's just jacking stuff up.
Yeah.
I think he threw up an air ball tonight. Like, it's ridiculous. Doc doesn't know what he's doing. Another example of that is when Embiid was having a terrible game against the Bucks. He was having a terrible shooting night, and then down the stretch with the game on the line, Doc runs the ball through Embiid when Harden was having a hell of a game.
Yep.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
We don't have any perimeter defense. Like, this dude needs to go. And that's why I was kind of at the beginning of the season, even though they were playing the Boston Celtics and the Bucks, I still seen the same stuff over and over again that didn't lead me to believe that they were going to get past the second round anyways. Like, I don't even know how they're going to get into the playoffs at this point, the way that they're playing. It's just that bad. It's really that bad.
Yeah. I don't either, actually. That's crazy. But you're right. Yeah, that Bucks game, I remember yelling about that because James Harden was the only reason it was even a game in the fourth quarter. He drug us back.
Right. He
put the whole team on his shoulders, and Embiid comes back in, and you immediately run like Embiid one-on-one against Brook Lopez on the block, and I'm like, are you serious? And he threw it out of bounds too, and we got lucky on the call. It was a turnover.
Yes. It was. It was. So that's all I really wanted to say. Thank you for taking my call, man. Thanks for letting us vent, man. I appreciate that.
Hey, man, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for calling. Take it easy. Yeah, he's right, man. We're all kind of saying the same thing here. Fire Doc Rivers, man. Fire Doc Rivers, man. What else can we say, man? I'm still shocked at people that come in the comments defending the guy. It's weird to me, but Caller on the line. What's up? Yo.
Hello. Hey.
What's going on, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing good. What's up?
Good. I'm calling from Toronto, man. Raptors fan here.
Oh, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good. Just wanted to reach out because, honestly, man, I had the Sixers picked for like the second team in the East. And I can imagine it's just frustrating for you guys because I picked the Sixers to be way above the Raptors just because of the talent on paper, But then you look at the games and there's just no drive, man. There's no energy. There's just nothing there.
Yeah, it's wild. It's really wild, man. You're right. I feel the same way. You know, I try to be. I'm biased, obviously. I'm a Sixers fan, but I try to be as unbiased as I can. A lot of Sixers fans think that I hate my own teams and things like that, or hate my own players, but it's just because I try to. I've always just kept it 100%. If a player's looking like trash, I'm going to say he looks like trash. But just talent wise, I agree. I thought the Sixers were a top team in the East coming into this season. And Toronto, I know they got a bunch of young athletes, but I always say, at least recently, the past couple of years, they're missing like that superstar to really, get them. And if they get one, look out. You know what I mean? Because Pascal alongside Kawhi a couple years ago, that was a perfect match. That he was a great number 2. So I think, if Toronto, I don't know what they can do, but if they end up getting somebody, again, they're going to win another championship because they got a whole lot of good role players, a whole lot of good athletes, and guys that can dribble, pass, and shoot, triple threat kind of guys, and they can all play defense. Yeah, I agree, man.
I totally agree, man. Totally agree. But I think the main factor out of all of this is the coaching, man. Like you have Nick Nurse who runs schemes, during the game. He'll switch out guys, he'll switch out plays based on who's in the lineup. And then you have Doc Rivers. He just seems lost out there, man. Like I watched some Sixers games and it's all the same. There's never any schemes. There's never any new plays. Everything is always the same. And I think that's the X factor right there. I think if you guys have a really good star-studded lineup, I think if you continue, honestly, with Doc Rivers, I don't believe the Sixers have a chance to make it out of the East. Just the East is so stacked. Again, beginning of the season, I had the Bucks number 1, the Sixers number 2. I had the Raptors at number 5. They're looking pretty good. I feel like they may jump up to number 3, but right now the Sixers, it's almost like a reset button when it comes to the coaching staff.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. It's 100% the coach, and you're right. Nick Nurse runs schemes and things. Isn't that what an NBA coach is supposed to do? It's actually crazy to me that Doc Rivers is out here and it looks like there's no schemes at all. There's no offensive plan whatsoever. I don't understand it at all, man. I don't understand it at all. Thanks for calling, man. Thanks for calling from Toronto,
man.
From Canada.
Take it easy, man.
Shout out
to
Canada. Shout out to all the Canadians in the chat, man. I know you Toronto Raptors fans show out, whenever we play the Raptors. Some of my most viewed videos are always Toronto Raptors recap videos because you guys, one team for a whole country. There's a lot of you guys. All right, phones are off, man. I'm gonna try to find a Doc Rivers post-game press conference. What's the date today? Doc Rivers post-game. It's not on Twitter and it's not on YouTube, man. Why am I coming up on maybe I was searching the wrong thing. Hold on a second. Doc Rivers post-game. I'm not getting anything for Doc Rivers post-game on Twitter, and it's not on YouTube. Well, that's unfortunate, isn't it? Let's see what else we can do here. I really want to listen to his post-game, man. If any of you guys have it screen recorded or something like that, you can send it to me, DM it to me. Let's see. 10 seconds ago, fire Doc Rivers. Let me see if I can just pull Twitter up here real quick. I can do that. I just searched Doc Rivers on Twitter, see what comes up. Fire Doc Rivers. Do the right thing. Is this the latest? Fire Doc Rivers again 41 seconds ago. Why wouldn't the Sixers fire Doc Rivers? Sixers have Doc Rivers problem. Heat Radio Sports. Doc Rivers is really going to keep losing the same way no matter what. He really doesn't believe in changing anything. That is accurate. Very accurate. The Sixers really playing unexpectedly poorly. If Raptors win another game against them on Friday, I expect Doc Rivers' job to be in jeopardy. Philadelphia may fire Doc by then to shake things up. I was joking. I was joking in the beginning of the season when I said, let's start 1-10 and fire Doc Rivers. I didn't actually think it was possible for this team to start 1-10, and now it's looking like it's actually possible. Matisse Thybulle has played 5 total minutes in 5 games for Philly this season. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. In the regular season, man, like if the playoffs come around and he looks unplayable, then you don't play him. But why would you bro? You should have traded him in the offseason if you weren't going to play him. I was going to put out Fire Glenn t-shirts, but now I'm thinking the guy's going to get fired before anybody even gets one in the mail. He's going to get fired before I can even put a t-shirt out, man, if they keep losing like this. Man, I got to find that. I could do it on YouTube TV, but then I can't put it on the screen because I'll get demonetized. I'll react to Doc Rivers' press conference tomorrow morning. That'll be the video that pops up on your feed tomorrow. I got work tomorrow, but around 9 a.m. there's going to be a reaction to Doc Rivers' post-game press conference, man. That's definitely going to happen. But anyway, this team doesn't deserve any more of my time. But thank you all for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. 604 people still in here. Give me 600 likes on the video. I need at least 600. Check out the merch store. Link is in the description. We got trucker hats, t-shirts, hoodies. We got the Who Won the Trade t-shirt on there. We might have a Fire Glenn t-shirt on there very soon. Yeah.